are free radicals that then will damage your brain. Sugar in the diet creates free radicals, damages your brain. Reducing this process, reducing glycation, by reducing your consumption of carbohydrates, like sugar, is now recognized as one of the most effective ways to reduce the aging not only of your body, but your entire body. It's that simple. And again, it's far more important than taking the latest, greatest antioxidant that came to us from some newly discovered island in the South Pacific. This is the cornerstone, fundamental of what is called anti-aging medicine. And, you know, I'm doing this myself. I often say to my patients, you know, I'm going to be 75 years old. And but it's true. But what I may not tell them is that is 17 years from now. So they have to wait around for that. I did tell them the truth. So what then is the take-home message? If you want to maintain a healthy brain as you get older, step number one is to keep your blood sugar not just in the good range, or what your doctor might say is the normal range, but in the excellent range. And the way you do that is through your diet. You've got to cut back on your sugars and carbohydrates. And it's not just cutting back on your sugars, it's cutting back on foods that contain starches. Right at breakfast, many of us are bombarding our bodies with high levels of carbohydrate, and we don't even know it. I mean, what are we all told we should be drinking for breakfast, right? It's, let's say, orange juice. So let's say you drink a 12-ounce glass of orange juice, freshly squeezed orange juice. Well, that's 36 grams of carbohydrate. What does that mean? It means 9 teaspoons of sugar, pure sugar. It's the same as a can of cola at breakfast. Now, how does that look? So here I am bashing orange juice, and you know, that's almost un-American. It's like saying that you shouldn't be eating apple pie. True. Now, it's important how high your blood sugar will go when you eat foods. But it's also important to understand not how high the blood sugar goes, but for how long your blood sugar will remain elevated. The longer your blood sugar remains elevated, the more dangerous it becomes. There's actually a ranking that looks not only at how high your blood sugar goes when you eat food, but also how long your blood sugar will remain elevated. And this is called the glycemic index. Again, clearly, the longer a food will raise your blood sugar, the more damaging it becomes, especially as it relates to the brain. So you should become intimately familiar with the glycemic index of foods, because when you start to evaluate the glycemic index, you're going to be in for a lot of surprises, I promise you. So let's just say that you wanted to evaluate the glycemic index of, let's say, a pure table sugar, white bread, whole grain goodness, and a candy bar. Which do you think would have the highest glycemic index? Well, would you put the sugar first or the candy bar first? In reality, of those 4 choices, the highest glycemic index is the whole grain bread. Then followed by the white bread or the sugar, kind of neck and neck. And then last on the list is the candy bar. Now, I'm not here telling you you should be eating candy bars. That's a good food to eat. That's not the mission. The mission is to understand this glycemic index. It's an invaluable tool that you need to understand for controlling your blood sugar and protecting your brain. And to make it even easier to follow, I've included this glycemic index guide in my program material. So one of the most important things you can do to build a healthy brain is to reduce your carbs. So then the question is, well, then what should we eat? Okay. Answer, more fat. Yes, eat more fat. And this definitely flies in the face of everything we've been told by our doctors. In fact, in the early 1990s, the idea that reducing our dietary fat was so important was absolutely drummed into each and every one of us. But in reality, nothing could be worse for our health, and specifically, nothing could be worse for brain health. Just look at the soaring rates of diabetes after we began getting this low-fat message. And remember, diabetes doubles your risk for Alzheimer's. Your brain is 60 to 70% fat. So if somebody says you're a fathead, they're on target. But your brain is built from the fats that you consume in your diet. Your body, and specifically your brain, are desperate for fat. And please know that the human requirement for carbohydrates is none. Zero. So hold on to that thought. And now that you know what sugar is doing to your brain, and specifically your brain's memory center, when we come back, I'm going to tell you the second food to eliminate from your diet for a major impact on your brain, and in fact, your whole body's health. So stay with me.